In this video, we'll see what are the softwares we need to work with these tutorials. So for sure, once you see these videos, you have to practice, right? So to practice, you need some softwares. So you need some editor. So basically, you can work with you can work with Notepad. So type your code and you can just compile it. Now to compile and run this code, what you need is, so see, by default in your system you'll be having JRE, which stands for Java Runtime Environment, which is used to run your files. But in order to convert your files into a class files or a file which can be run on JVM, you need something called as JDK. Now JDK stands for Java Development Kit. So in short, it's also called as JDK. And the version of JDK we'll be using here is 7. So how to download this file? Just go to Google and search for Java Development Kit or JDK7 download. So once you click on the first link, so first link will take you here, which is Oracle website, because Java is now a product of Oracle since Java was created by Sun and Oracle acquired Sun. So now Java belongs to Oracle. So you can just see here there is a Java SE edition, which is standard edition. And now search for the link where you can download. So you can see there are lots of links to download. But first you need to accept. So before downloading, you have to accept. Now depend upon which type of OS you're working on, you need to accept. We have to click on the particular link. So if you're working on Linux 32-bit OS, you can click one of this link. If you're working on Linux 64, we can click here. If you're working on Macintosh, you can select this. Or if you're working on Solaris system, you can select this depending upon the OS type you're using. And then if you're working on Windows, so I am also working on Windows here. I'm working on Windows 8, which is 64 bits. I have to download this file. So just click on this link. You can see there will be a download started here. So it will take some time depending upon your internet speed, but I don't want to download this because I have already did that and I have also installed it. So once you download it, you have to install it. Steps are very simple. You can just click on next, 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 and just finish the installation. Now once you finish the installation, this software will be installed in C drive program files in Java folder as Java JDK 1.7, and then in that you will be having a bin folder. You will find all the Java related execution files. So once you're done with your JDK, using JDK you can now convert your all Java files into a class files using Java C, which is Java compiler. But now, we don't want to use a notepad to write our code, right? Because we are living in a world of programming where we have to focus more on the logic instead of working on all those bottleneck or all those settings. So what you can do is you can use one of the best IDE. So IDE we have to use here, and IDE stands for it is integrated. So it is integrated. It's development environment. So we have to use something called as IDE here. Then question arises, which IDE? So one of the best IDE to work with Java is Eclipse. So now we have lots of IDEs to work with. We can either use NetBeans, we can use Eclipse, we can use IntelliJ. So since Eclipse is free and it is used by industry experts, so we will be using Eclipse here. So how to download Eclipse? Just go to Google and search for Eclipse download. Or you can just go to this page, which is eclipse.org/downloads. Somewhere here you will find Eclipse IDE for Java developers, and depend upon which type of OS we are working with. If you are working with Windows 32-bit, you can download this, or you can download Windows 64-bit. Okay, and so just download this. If you can click on this Windows 64, it will ask you for which is the nearest server you have. So it will our ISP will detect that thing. So you don't have to do that. Just click on the nearest server, which is China for me, and just click on the link. It will take you to download page. It will say wait for some time. It will get downloaded, and the download will start in maybe in some seconds. So once you download this, since I have already done that, I can say cancel. So you don't have to install Eclipse, it will be directly installed. What you can do is you can go to this folder and say open. Now once you are done with Eclipse, now let's focus on the third software. Now the third software we need here is a database server. Now for the concept of JDBC, we need to use some database software. You can either use Oracle or you can use SQL Server or MySQL. Since MySQL and Oracle are the product of Oracle, which is also Java is also part of Oracle, you can either go with Oracle or you can go with MySQL. Since MySQL is free and we are working on some small applications, see because once you work with MySQL with Java, it's not that difficult to switch yourself from MySQL to Oracle. So the software we'll be using here is MySQL. So MySQL you can use 5.1 or 5.5, so any version which is available. Because for the starters, as a beginners, all the versions are same for you. So we'll be using MySQL 1.1, 5.1 or 5.5. Let's see which is available there. So let's go to your browser and search for MySQL download, or you can directly go to this link which is dev.mysql.com/download/mysql, and this just search for installer. So we are available with 5.6 here. So any version will do now. And then search for the type of OS you're working on. If you're 64-bit, just click on download. So file is a bit huge, it is 300 MB. So once you click on download, it will take you this login page. So I don't want to create any login here. I have a Oracle account, but I don't want to log in here. I can simply say no thanks to start my download. So once you click on that link, it will start the download. Again, I have already done that, so I don't have to do that. Now, in order to install MySQL, you have to say next, but in the last step, it will ask you for the configuration. Now, that step is important. It's because in that step, you need to provide a password. So it will ask you for a password, which is, again, in our example, we'll set the password as 0. So make sure when you install it, you mention a password as 0, or you can have any password if you can remember it. And they mention the port number as, so mention a port number as 3306 here. 3306. Okay, so this is the port number we're working with. So by default, MySQL port number will be 3306. So basically, you need these three softwares. One is Java Development Kit, which is JDK 1.7. You require Eclipse. So either you can use Luna, which we were trying to download, or you can use something called as Kepler. So in our examples, I'm using Eclipse Kepler. You can also use Luna, and you can have to install MySQL. So the latest version you will be getting is 5.6, and the default port number we have to specify as, it's a port number we have to specify as 3306. Now one thing to be considered, if you have already installed a PHP or a WAMP server, so WAMP server will use this 3306 port number. So in that case, make sure you make it as 3307 only if 3306 is busy on your system. So these are the softwares we need for all these tutorials.